Welcome back to Jedi Enclave. I'm Daniel.
I'm Chris.
This is our weekly live show where we talk about Star Wars and other fandoms that we're into, depending on how interested in them that we are. This is every Wednesday, 6 o'clock Central. We are live, so feel free to drop something in the chat today. Well, first, how are you? How are you doing? Vamp for a second. I have to share some things. Which, by the way, oh, you literally, yeah,
yeah.
Make sure you share the stream.
Yes, of course.
With people who will enjoy it, or
people who won't.
Yeah, people who won't.
Just with both your friends and enemies.
Yeah.
And you can choose in what spirit you share it with each individual person.
Yeah, we'll take literally everything we can get.
Let's see. Special thanks to Connor at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars.
We're not
Veritas.
supposed to do my lines,
well,
but yeah.
I was vamping. Okay, I'm filling
right.
time.
Also, Facebook changed how I share things, and it's now I don't understand my like what's going on.
Well,
there now
there
it works.
See,
okay,
as long as it gets shared,
Yeah.
it's fine.
Yeah, big thanks to Connor at the Star Wars Hub and Star Wars Veritas. Those are both Facebook pages that you should go check out. And if you're tired of all the clickbait and all the Mike Zeros of the world,
If you'd like something approaching civilized discourse about Star Wars,
and I make sure that it's civilized because I'm a mod for Star Wars Veritas, and I ban people all the fucking time.
there's nothing you enjoy more than banning stupid
It's
people.
it's the power, Chris. It goes to my head. I can't help it. Like I said, we're live, so we'll be reading chats as they come in when it makes sense. Like if we're in the middle of something, we won't. But do that. Directly after this, at 7, we're gonna join the boys from Gremlin Squad and play some Battlefront 2. Talk some more about some of the crazy shit that happened today.
There's a little bit of crazy shit.
Yeah,
like not a ton of crazy shit, but a little bit of crazy shit.
The Bad Batch had its season finale today, and then there was Mandalorian season 3, episode 5, both of which we're gonna recap and spoil. But you'll have really fair warning before we do that. But like I said earlier, make sure you click like, subscribe, share the stream. In the description of this video, wherever you're watching it, is a link to our Discord server, which you should check out and go and make yourself known to the world, at least the small world of people who are tens of viewers. Yeah. So go and check that out as you please. There aren't a lot of new things. I'm just gonna go through a couple of these things. One of them could very easily be bullshit because it's very rumory. But last week we talked about Damon Lindelof was doing he's writing a Star Wars movie.
Yes.
And then he turned the script in, and then the next week he either got fired or he quit. It's very unclear.
Yeah.
But he's not.
But he's not attached to it.
Right. So, however, I guess now they have a new writer for that project, who's going to be Stephen Knight, who's the creator of Peaky Blinders. Which I've
not seen any of it.
There was a guy that we played Battlefront with that was super into it, and I watched it because he raved about it, and I watched a lot of the first season, and it's all right. Like it's one of those things where like if you're not into it, you're not into it. But like if you're into it, it's it's a fine show. It's well made and everything. Stars Cillian Murphy, the guy that played the Scarecrow in the Chris Nolan Batmans. Oh. That guy with freakishly like blue eyes or whatever. Yeah. I was also in a movie that I kind of forgot existed until a few days ago called 28 Days Later. Have you seen that?
I've heard of it. Yeah.
It's one of those it's like a low budget horror movie that like everyone really loved at the time, and it was filmed in this really weird way where like when you watch it, you look like you're watching someone taped over on a VHS with it, and like the quality is not very good, but it's like how it was supposed to be or something. But go check that if you want.
I can see that working in a horror context, just because like it gives your imagination more room to fill in details.
Yeah, a lot of the shots are really good and everything. It has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Jimmy says, hello there.
Hello
Mando,
there.
I love the big cameo. It wasn't that big of a cameo, but it was cool.
It was a cameo.
Bad Batch, I don't know what to think. Can't believe they did that. We're going to get to that when we get into spoilers, because and I've got some thoughts on that too. I'm not entirely sure that one thing is necessarily permanent. The other thing, the first thing, the Damon Lindelof thing is
that's confirmed.
Yeah,
by the way.
That's coming from Variety.
From Variety,
yeah.
Like their legit source.
Yep.
Like that's for real.
Yeah. According to a rumor, and this is where you take this with a grain of salt, because 75%, 95% chance this is just probably not true.
First of all, it's a video game rumor, so that
Yeah.
jumps that up to like 98% chance it's not true.
Yeah. Apparently there is an Ewok game that's being worked on, and apparently it's like Pikmin, but with Ewoks. I have no idea what the fuck Pikmin is. Is that a thing that kids do?
Pikmin was this.
Is it like
series
Roblox?
From
All
like,
my fucking students
the
won't
game,
shut the fuck up about Roblox.
It's from the GameCube days. You're this space guy who crashes on a planet where there's these intelligent plants called Pikmin that you can lead around and make them do things.
Oh,
Anyway,
I remember the GameCube.
yeah. So my thought on this is, nobody is asking for this,
Yeah.
which makes it kind of likely that it might actually happen.
Yeah, that's a fair point.
Like, it's never the things that people actually want. Like, all the Battlefront 3 rumors come to nothing, and people are, like, shit their pants every time they hear about those.
Yeah.
And then fucking Ewoks, and it's like, who wants this?
Or
Who is this
like
for?
Star Wars Squadrons was kind of like came out of nowhere that everyone was really surprised by it. So yeah, I don't know. Maybe it's real, maybe it's not. If it's if it's a mobile game,
The rumor said, according to the rumor, it's not a mobile game.
but that's okay. That makes it more likely I'll actually try to play it because mobile games generally are terrible and I hate them. So none of that bullshit. Taron says, "Hey,
Hey,
you doing, guys?" Oh no, he said, "How you doing, guys?"
how you doing?
That makes a lot more sense than what I just read in my head. Hey, we're doing great. How are you? Those are the only two news things.
Yep, that's all the news.
Star Wars Celebration's coming up. Eventually,
May the 4th is in like a month.
yeah. Which is in, I think they're doing that in London, right? So when shit starts happening with that, we'll be all over it. And I suspect that there won't be a lot of news during the Mandalorian stretch.
Yeah, but like Star Wars Celebration is going to be after Mando finishes, and I imagine at that point they'll be like nudging us towards Ahsoka.
Yeah, I bet there's going to be some other surprise things. That do you remember that one Star Wars Celebration where back before Force Awakens they did the 30-second sizzle reel for Force Awakens over Thanksgiving, where Finn jumps up into frame.
Yeah, like holy shit, a black stormtrooper.
Yeah, and then the Falcon flies, and then that was it.
Yeah.
Right? And you see BB-8 rolling along the ground, which everyone was like, "Oh my fucking god!"
So cute.
And then at Star Wars Celebration that following year, since it was on Thanksgiving, it was in November. In May, I think it was May the next year. They did the Chewie We're Home trailer that dropped on Star Wars Celebration, and everyone watched it like a million times and cried a bunch, or at least I did. I did, like, there's nothing like that, obviously, because I don't even think that they're.
I don't think they have any of the movies that are close enough to be shown like that.
I think everything that would be a movie is still in pre-production. I think so.
I would expect like a sizzle reel or a trailer for Ahsoka.
I would guess a straight up trailer, like a full length trailer for Ahsoka.
Because that's supposed to be coming out in just a couple months now. Like,
is it really?
Like, I think I heard mid to late this year.
I was thinking late this year, probably in December.
December would make sense, yeah.
Yeah, because they were. In fact, I kind of noticed that today when I was watching Mandalorian. I was like, didn't this shit used to happen in December? Because I remember when Luke Skywalker happened, it was like it was like Christmas had come early.
Yeah.
And they kind of moved that off. So they're gonna put something there because people are really into that. So yeah, those are two news things. Tyler Dirk says watching Mandalorian episode now. Well, let me tell you, so you've springboarded us straight into the next thing. Mandalorian had a new episode today. Do you have any spoiler-free thoughts before we?
So
nothing new. I have one thing I want to say about it, but
so one of the cooler shots from the trailer was all the Mandalorians dropping out of the ship and jetpacking down and
Paramandos.
Yeah, and that was really cool.
Mm-hmm.
Spoiler-free. There were some cameos and some returning characters, which we will get into. But it's nice that they're sort of going out of their way to make this cohesive, consistent narrative. It's one of the strengths of TV as opposed to movies, where you can get lots of time with these characters and they're using the medium well.
Yeah. So there's one. I didn't just touch your leg on purpose. My dog over here. I wouldn't do that on stream. There's been one criticism throughout that I'm kind of starting to get a little bit. I understand why people are saying it, which is that but both previous seasons had like at a certain point a sense of urgency about it. Like in season 2, Grogu gets kidnapped, and it's a thing, or even the search for the Jedi.
Sure.
For him was kind of a like it really kept things moving along, and it kind of does feel like this season lacks a little bit of urgency. Like everyone's just kind of hanging out, and they're like, I guess we'll go do this, and I guess we'll go do that. The exception is, of course, the end of this episode. It had a pretty big, things are about to heat up.
Well, if you look at when those urgent things happened, it was always in like the last third or quarter of the season, right?
Yeah, that's fair.
Which is about where we are now. There's 3 episodes left.
Yeah, I guess the Tython episode was
he's
the last 3 episodes, the beginning of the last 3 episodes. So I guess you're right. Yeah. Well, I didn't think about that. So, we're gonna spoil it.
Yes.
So if you've not seen it, turn away, come back later, because we're gonna talk about everything. We're gonna spoil everything. We're gonna talk about what happens in the plot. We're gonna talk about things we liked and things we didn't like. So please, I don't want to be the one that ruins it for you. So and if you don't care, then fuck off and watch it anyway. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So you've been warned. Here, I've made this little graphic for you. This is spoilers. So you can't come at me now because I've warned you like 6 times.
Okay.
Yeah. So let's go. Let's talk about
it. Chapter 21, or Season 3, Episode 5, The Pirate, opens on Navarro, where Grief Karga is in his office doing some like civic planning with his engineers and stuff, talking about, actually we should move the trade area near the spaceport because blah, blah, blah.
Yeah. You fucking idiots. How did you not think of that?
When out of nowhere, there's some screaming coming from outside.
Which is never good.
No. So he goes out to the balcony and looks up, and there's, this giant fucking pirate ship overhead.
Yeah. A Corsair class.
Yeah.
Or whatever it is.
Whatever.
Yeah.
His droid comes in and says, hey, you got a fucking phone call from the pirates.
Get your cape droids. We have work to do.
So fucking Grief Karga picks up the phone, and who is it but fucking Leafbeard himself, Gorian Shar.
Okay, so real quick. I really made myself laugh. I cracked myself up quite a bit. And I was thinking today, I was like, why does this Pirate King look so goofy to me? And it's not something like I don't hate it. Like it's fine. And the guy that does his voice is a really famous actor that I really like. He's in a show called Sweet Tooth, but and Game of Thrones. He's in Game of Thrones as well. For some reason, he reminds me. He looks like he is made of the fake grass that you put in Easter egg baskets. And once I thought of it like that, I couldn't stop thinking about it. He's like the Pirate King Easter basket. Yeah. it kind of made me laugh.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. So Gorian Shar is like, holy shit, Grief Karga. You used to be the fucking boss of the bounty hunters, and now you're just yet another fat nobleman.
Yeah. You have cape droids.
Yeah.
What the fuck?
What's up with that? Grief is like, well, look, I might be respectable now, but I'll still kill a bitch.
Yeah.
And Gorian's like, yeah, I know, because you killed my guys, and now I'm going to kill all of your people.
Yeah. Which he says you gun the one guy down in cold blood. Did not happen.
They gunned down like 5 guys.
Yeah, but it was not in cold blood. Though the one guy drew first, and then Grief Karga drew last, and ended the fight. So,
but do you really think it matters to Gorian?
No, he's just looking for these guys get bored, so they go and pick a fight with somebody.
Grief Karga is like,
he's just sitting in an Easter basket the whole fucking time. Like, what is he gonna do?
Grief Karga is like, are you sure you want to pick a fight with the New Republic? And Gorian's like, motherfucker, you are independent.
Yeah.
You can't go crying to the Republic. You can't go crying to Moff Gideon. Like, there's no one here to help you. Also, it's just you.
Let me tell you, the New Republic doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. So don't even go there.
Grief says, all right, yeah, but, the Spinward Patrol comes by every now and then. And Gorian is like, you dumb motherfucker. The Republic hasn't done shit about pirates. Yeah. Like, I'm the fucking pirate king. You really think I could just say that and
even at the height of the old Republic, there were fucking slaves out here. Like,
so it's like, look, you're not about to bluff me off of this. I know you got nothing. I'm gonna start blowing your shit up now, and the only call of yours I'm gonna take is when you say I give up. He hangs up and starts blowing up the city.
Yeah.
And Grief is like, well,
man
shit.
of his word.
Yeah.
I mean, he fucking did it.
Grief is like, well, shit. I guess we gotta get out of here. If I can get all the civilians out, let's get the hell out of here. And that's when the title comes up. So we jump to a tropical planet.
Have they always done cold opens like this? Or is that just that season 3 thing?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either. I just like I like the cold open format because it kind of like throws you right in.
Mm-hmm. So anyway, we go to this tropical planet that has some pretty rock music soundtrack to it.
Yeah.
There's this New Republic fighter base, like a just airstrip and some hangars and shit set up. In the bar, there's all the typical Top Gun shit going on, like the shooting pool and drinking. Mm-hmm. Our old friend, the pilot Carson Teva, gets a fucking telegram from the bartender who says, "Hey, this message came for you." It's Grief Karga calling for help, saying, "Hey, look, all my shit's getting blown up. Can you come help?
They killed my cape droids. I don't know what to do." Which, by the way, this whole thing, like, the Top Gun thing is a really good reference there. Actually, I noticed that the New Republic soldiers it's very diverse. Mm-hmm. Like, there's like one like 75-year-old woman hanging out in a flight suit, which is like, I mean, shit.
Get it, girl.
Yeah. And then I thought it was really funny that the technology that he uses, like, it's so fucking busted and inefficient. Like, he's
that's everything in Star Wars.
I know, but it's like, he's like, well, let me pull out this fucking suitcase of a data card reader that's bigger than a fucking supercomputer. And I thought it was pretty funny.
So Teva's like, well, shit, I guess I got to call Coruscant and get some people out here. And who should be drinking next to him but our old friend from Rebels, Zeb, voiced by the inimitable Steve Bloom.
Yes.
Who's like, Coruscant hasn't been answering anybody's calls, dude. They're not going to help you.
It's kind of nice to know that this guy has something to do after Rebels, I guess. I guess he doesn't join the search for Ezra. He just joins the New Republic. And his CG wasn't bad. Yeah. Because I think his whole face was CG, obviously, right?
I think his whole everything was CG.
Yeah. And then if you guys don't like, if you've not watched Rebels, he's a part of the main gang. He's the wrecker.
Yes.
For Rebels, right?
Less of a 5-year-old, but fills the same physical niche.
His entire family was like killed by the Empire or something, and he has a chip on his shoulder. Same species as Cal Kestis' master in Jedi Fallen Order.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, so Coruscant's not returning anybody's calls. So Carson Teva was like, fuck it, I'll just go to Coruscant myself and knock on the door.
I love this guy's attitude.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll just go over
there. They can't fucking ignore me if I just show up, right?
Did you also notice he has a Rancor head patch on his jacket?
Really?
I love the fucking jacket, by the way.
Yeah.
Like, everyone's got their flight suit on. He's like, oh, I'm gonna wear a fucking jacket over this, but it's got it's a patch with a Rancor on it.
I did not notice that.
And it was like, so is that like a Boba Fett thing? Like, is he just like buddies with Boba Fett? Maybe, I don't know.
Maybe he's part of Rancor Squadron.
Tell us in the comments. Oh, also, Steven says, was that Zeb?
Yes.
Brandon says, yeah. It says in the credits.
Anyway, he gets to Coruscant and fucking walks into a New Republic office and is like, hey, here's
same office, by the way.
Colonel Tuttle.
Yeah, same office as where what's his name was working.
Dr.
Pershing.
Yeah. Oh, nice detail.
Yeah.
And by the way, who in the background is lurking but our old friend Elia Kane.
Yeah.
Tuttle is having so like Teva's like, all right, look, I just really need some help with Navarro. They're getting blown up by pirates. Can I get like another squadron of guys to go take care of this? Mm-hmm. And Tuttle's like, let me see that fucking telegram.
Give me that. Yeah.
Puts it on, like shuts it off halfway through. Says, yes, that does seem terrible.
Tuttle, by the way, is played by Tim Meadows, Saturday Night Live regular. If anyone's into Saturday Night Live,
very expressive actor.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, you would think that if they were getting SNL guys to do this, it would be like a comedy thing. He doesn't. He's just like a regular fucking dude.
Anyway, Elia Kane walks in and says, hey, boss, just passing through. I'm going to go get some coffee. You want any?
You might have noticed that when they're talking before she comes in, they shoot it so that you see the window behind them and you see her looking at them. Like, you see her watching and commanding and everything. Yeah.
Tuttle is like, hey, wait a minute. You were out in the Outer Rim. What the fuck do you know about Navarro? She's like, well, Navarro hasn't signed the Republic Charter, so they aren't under Republic protection. Yeah. So there's not much we can do about it. Teva just kind of glances over and sees the amnesty badge on her chest.
Oh, yeah.
He's like, yes.
He's immediately like, I don't like you.
Tuttle's like, look, my office has a huge backlog of requests for help from worlds that actually are part of the Republic, so I don't really have anything to give you.
Which, by the way they're storing data, it doesn't surprise me even a little bit that they have a backlog.
Yeah.
Because They're using like floppy disks.
Punch cards.
Yeah, they're like these big fucking things.
Teva's like, all right, look, like the people of Navarro have been through a lot. They had to deal with Moff Gideon, and now there's pirates blowing the place off. And by the way, did Moff Gideon even make it to trial? Because I don't think he did.
Second time this has come up, by the way.
Tuttle's like, look, I'm just the requisitions guy. I don't talk politics. I just get people stuff. So what can I get you? Teva's like, all right, give me authorization and like another squadron or two of ships to go deal with Navarro.
A machine gun? Can you give me a machine gun?
That'd be nice. Elia Kane is like, look, clearly the people of Navarro need to see the advantages of New Republic membership. And if that means they get a little blown up, that's just the price of doing business. Yeah. And Teva's like, you're a fucking monster.
Yeah, well, he's like, you're a fucking Imperial.
Which is the same thing, really. So they're about to throw down when Tuttle's like, look.
She could probably whoop your ass, man.
Both
just
of you
break it up. Yeah.
Did you know, actually, that the actress who plays Elia Kane was in Ant-Man and the Quantumverse?
Yes, I did.
Yeah, she was the martial arts alien.
I also found out, this is just tangentially related, Ming-Na Wen. Yeah. Was the voice for Mulan.
Really?
In like the old school animated Mulan.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
I don't think she sang, because they don't do that. Like they got a guy that does the voice and a guy that sings.
Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, so Tuttle's like, look, I can tell you two are about to fight. Just please don't get any blood on my carpet. I'll fucking kick your request up the chain of command and see what they can do. But like, I can't do anything myself.
Wouldn't hold your breath either.
Like Carson Teva's like, look, all this shit happening around Navarro is not a fucking coincidence.
Yeah.
Like, if the Republic just keeps sitting here waiting for things to get big enough to actually deal with it, like, Navarro's going to be gone.
Yeah.
There's nothing we can do about
This is a great example of, first of all, regardless if you've been hoping for it or not, it is very clear that they're not retconning the sequel trilogy. And this entire show has been proof, right? Mm-hmm. And this is a really good example of that, of someone ringing the alarm bells about will eventually become the First Order. And so I thought that it's cool that we've got people early on who are like, there's something weird going on. However, his logic for this is really weird.
Yeah.
He's like, well, first there was
Moff Gideon.
Yeah, and then
now
pirates.
There's the pirate
and
king.
that means that Snoke is around, or
and
he would know that.
Connected?
But yeah, I don't think it is connected. I just think he feels weird about. He's like, there's like something weird happening out here.
So anyway, he turns around and fucks off, and as he goes, Elia Kane just kind of watches him go menacingly.
Yeah, oh my god,
she is conniving.
Yeah.
She is planning things. So back on Navarro, the refugees from the city are walking across the volcanic plains, and they're pretty wretched and miserable. They stop by this big rock to set up camp, and Grief Karga hops up on the rock and says, "People of Navarro, don't worry, I've put out the call for help.
Yeah.
Reinforcements will be here soon."
Who's coming?
The Republic.
Oh. That's pretty much what they're
pretty
like,
much what happens, yeah.
Might as well just die, I guess.
So Carson Teva goes out to the Mandalorian covert, and he's flying around. He's like, "Oh, hey, that's Bo-Katan's ship. They're here. Let's just hop down." So he gets out of his ship.
It's a sexy ship, by the way. Bo-Katan's ship is fucking sexy.
And he like gets out, holds out his hands, like, "Hey, look, I'm just here to talk. I'm not threatening you. I'm not gonna do anything bad." He's like, "I'm Captain Carson Teva, the New Republic. Yeah. Just want to talk.
I'm a fucking Captain X-Wing fighter."
And Paz Vizsla comes out and says, "Fuck off."
Yeah.
We don't deal with your kind here. Mando's like, "Okay, how the fuck did you find us? Because like we're supposed to be covert.
Yeah.
It's right there in the name." And Carson Teva's like, "Yes, but one of my old comrades from the rebellion happens to be working with you
One of my war buddies."
And all the Mandos just start looking at each other.
Which I was like, is it one of the Mandalorians?
Yeah. No, it's a fucking R5 astromech droid that
he comes out on
up.
cue. Yeah. Which, by the way, apparently R5 like fucking got around during the rebellion, which is great. There's
Love that for him.
There are two, like, okay, so there's a legacy and then a canon thing with R5. The legacy thing was that R5 was force sensitive somehow, and stuff happened.
And blew himself up so that R2 would go with Luke.
That's the canon explanation in From a Certain Point of View, A New Hope, which, by the way, they've announced From a Certain Point of View, Return of the Jedi, which is supposed to come out when Return of the Jedi hits its 40th
Cannot
anniversary.
Wait to hear the story from Bib Fortuna's point of view.
Right. So the
Kowakian monkey lizard.
I bet there's a bunch of shit in there. It's going to be great. So from a certain point of view, which are all books you should read, they're really great. It's an anthology of short stories. Some of them are amazing, deep lore Star Wars stories, and some of them are just goofy as fuck, like this one, which is like after the Jawas take R2, he tells R5, he's like, I'm on a secret mission to save the world.
Mm-hmm.
I need to make sure that
I need to get out of here.
Right. And so when they go to sell the droids, like they were going to split 3PO and R2 up, and so he's like, I guess I'll blow myself up. Mm-hmm. And I guess he becomes a war hero after this. Good for you, R5. Yeah. I'm fucking proud of you, man.
Mando's like, well, great. Now that the Republic knows where we are, we have to leave. Thanks a fucking lot. Paz Vizsla like, or we could just kill him.
Yeah.
Like, he can't tell anybody if he's dead.
Kill him and eat him. Wait, what? What?
What?
Never mind.
Mando's like, no, we're not going to kill him. You know, he helped me once, and I'm going to return the favor. You can get the fuck out of here. Teva's like, all right, look, I got this telegram from your old friend Grief Karga. Yeah, he's got some serious trouble. He needs some help. Just take a look at this. Mando is like, all right, let's go talk in my office, which is further down the beach here.
Yeah.
Like, why are you really here? Teva's like, look, the Empire is getting stronger out here, and like, I want the Republic to do something about it. I'm pretty sure I can convince them, but I need proof. And I can't really get it if pirates are blowing up Navarro. Like, I need you to take down the pirates. Is like, look, I know it's not your fight. You know, you're Mandalorians. You don't really bother with anyone else. But your buddy Grief Karga is getting his ass kicked.
Yeah.
So maybe you want to do something about that.
Yeah.
He climbs up in his X-wing with a musical cue of the March of the Resistance,
which is cool. Every time I hear that theme, it's probably one of John Williams' best themes for Star Wars.
It's really good. He's like, all right, look, you're not gonna believe me, but I'm not gonna tell anyone that you're here. So like, you can stay here if you want, even though I know you're gonna move because you guys are paranoid like that. But have fun with Grief Karga.
Yeah, fuck you for saying you were gonna eat me. Canopy down, flies off.
Bo-Katan asks Mando, okay, so what the fuck are you gonna do? Mando's like, well, I kind of have to help him. Grief Karga is like one of 3 friends I have, and Bo-Katan's like, yeah, you're gonna need a lot more help than just you to do this.
Which I thought it was funny where like Mando was like, obviously I'm going to help.
Obviously.
Yeah. Because it's fucking it's Carl Weathers. Yeah. Like, you're not going to leave Carl Weathers to die.
So around
Carl Weathers wouldn't leave you to die.
Yeah. So around the bonfire that night, Mando has Armor's hammer in hand, and he's like, all right, look, I'm gonna go help Grief Karga.
Yes, the talking hammer. They have a system where if you talk, you got to hold the hammer.
It's like the rock, the conch shell from Lord of the Flies.
Yeah, or in Breaking Bad, the talking pillow.
Yeah,
which is it. You don't, because I haven't forced you to watch that show.
I know
yet.
what the concept is. Anyway, he's like, look, Grief Karga is good people. Like, I'm gonna go help the people of Navarro. I want you to come with me. Like, when I talked to Grief Karga last, he promised me a shit ton of land where I could retire and make this big life for myself. But like, I'm gonna take him up on that offer, and it's gonna become our new homeland. Like, we're going to have a place where we can live out in the open. We don't have to constantly be living in caves and sewers and shit. And, you know, we are like, we can raise our kids to play in the sun and whatnot.
Which I thought was really funny because, like, they're all wearing helmets.
Yeah. So he hands the hammer back to Armor, and Armor's like, all right, who the fuck else wants to talk? Paz Vizsla takes the hammer. He's like,
which
look,
everyone's like, oh God, here we go.
That motherfucker, Grief Karga, and the Imperials killed a shit ton of us. Why the fuck should we help? And all the Mandalorians are like, yes, he makes a good point. Fuck Grief Karga. Paz Vizsla's like, I'll tell you why the fuck we should help. Because we're Mandalorians.
Yeah, and they're like, oh, that's not where I thought this was going.
Because Grief Karga fucking helped that green foundling with the funny ears over there. Yeah. And fucking Mando here saved my kid. And fucking Bo-Katan saved my kid. Now they're asking us to go help Grief Karga. So obviously we got to go fucking help them. Like,
also, he's like, consider also, all we've been doing is shooting at the lake. All of us are very bored.
Yes.
Let's go kill somebody, please.
They want to fight. Now I'm on board. This is the way. And everyone's like, this is the fucking way. Yeah. Let's do it. So the plan is Bo-Katan is going to drop the Mandos on the ground with their jetpacks so they can, you know, clear out the city. While Bo-Katan and Mando are flying around, buzzing Gorian's ship and dealing with the fighters and stuff.
Real quick. Jimmy asks, wait, was that Zeb from Rebels? Yes. Established.
Yes.
If the certain point of view book doesn't have a chapter titled "Why, from Anakin's point of view, are the Jedi evil?" I will be disappointed. They've not done the only ones they've done. A New Hope and Empire Strikes Back, and then Return of the Jedi will be next. And then Steven says the Jedi were evil. How was the Force balanced with all of those Jedi and only 2 Sith?
It wasn't like the Jedi weren't. That's the whole point. Anakin is extremely disillusioned and delusional.
Yeah. Also, George Lucas's idea of the Force being balanced isn't like 1 Sith, 1 Jedi per capita. It's no Sith.
Yes.
And only good stuff happening.
Yes.
So it's a whole thing.
So the pirates are just kind of going through the wreckage of the city and looting and abusing the few people who are still there and just generally having a good time. They happen to look up and see Mando and his fucking hot rod starfighter go zooming through the sky and buzz Gorian's ship. Gorian is like, fucking get the guns out, fucking launch the fighters, kill that fucker. Mando's like... So Mando's flying around and blasting them and stuff, and Grief Karga over on his rock looks over and says, I know that fucking fighter. And calls up Mando's like, hey, thanks for the help, man.
Hey, buddy.
Mando's like, so that offer of all that land, that's still good,
Oh,
right?
yeah, I guess that's something like he offered in the couple of episodes
the
ago.
fucking premiere.
He's like, yeah, you go build a cabin over in the fucking thing.
This is near the hot springs.
I thought it was really funny. He's like, hang up your blaster, but then immediately take it down, tie it on your hip, and then be my sheriff, please.
Be my sheriff. So Mando is flying him around and distracting Gorian's ship when Bo-Katan zooms by and drops the Mandos and they jetpack down.
Mm-hmm.
It's
Paramandos.
all supremely cool. Yeah. So the Mandalorians
they're having a blast. By the way.
they drop in this time of their lives. They're blasting pirates. They're kicking ass and having fun. Mando is pulling the fighters away, and Bo-Katan starts shooting up Gorian's ship and like takes out an engine or two. The fighters get called back to deal with Bo-Katan because Gorian realizes where the real threat is. In the city streets, the Mandalorians are moving up, but they eventually get surrounded. And then who should appear but fucking Paz Vizsla with his giant fucking gun just blasting everyone.
Paz Vizsla, who has walked up to a Star Destroyer and ripped off a turbo laser and is just carrying it around to kill people.
Pretty much, yeah. So
he climbed a mountain with that motherfucker in the last episode.
He shoots the fuck out of everything until the pirates set up a big gun of their own on the railing of Grief Karga's balcony and start blasting the Mandalorians. And like not even Paz Vizsla can deal with that. Mm-hmm. So up in the sky, Bo-Katan is like zooming around trying to deal with the fighters, and she's like, I could use some help here. And Mando's like, I got you, and blows them all up. Back on the ground, who should be coming into fucking Grief Karga's office but the armorer with her hammer and tongs? And like when I saw this, I was like, I don't even care how she got there. This is going to be so cool.
Yeah.
And she just beats the shit out of the pirates.
Yeah. It's like anytime we get to see that woman beat people with a hammer. I'm sure there's a whole, by the way, there has to be a whole like fandom for the armor beating things up. If you're out there,
more power to you. So the armor just beats the shit out of them. And the Mandalorians keep going, chasing the pirates out of town and like out the gate. And the pirates are running out. And then all the townspeople are there with their guns. And they turn around, and there's the Mandalorians. And the pirates are like, well, shit.
Yeah.
And they just put down their guns and like, okay, you win.
It's a pretty good indication for how things will eventually go as well. Remember that they're just pirates, and
like these aren't trained soldiers or anything.
So like at one point they're like, this is not worth it. I guess I'll quit.
Speaking of which, Vane, the asshole from the premiere, who's the last surviving fighter pilot, and is like, you know what, boss? We had a good run, but I'm out of here. Yeah. Have a good life, which is going to be very short.
Let me know how your little battle goes. Bye.
Gorian Shard's people on the bridge are like, look, we have one engine left. We need to get the fuck out of here right now. Yeah. Gorian's like, fuck that. Tell all the gunners to shoot the city, blow up all the people. If I'm going to die, I'm taking them with me.
Yeah.
Mando and Bo-Katan are like, shit, he's blowing up literally everything. We got to kill him. And they blow up his last engine, and he crashes and explodes in a huge fireball, and all his people die. So, at the victory party, Grief Karga is like, yes, we're alive thanks to the Mandalorians. Everyone give a big round of applause to our helmeted saviors. From now on, they get all the land from, like, there to, like, over there. And that's all theirs.
Yeah.
Permanently, forever.
Thanks.
Yeah.
Our gift to you.
So, like, like, Bo-Katan is standing there listening to all this, and, like, Paz Vizsla walks up and taps her on the shoulders, like, Armorer wants to talk to you.
Yeah, which when he says this, I'm like, oh, because like there's been like they've been building this sense of friction between Mando, Bo-Katan, and the Armorer, because the Armorer is a sycophant,
a fanatic. I think would be more accurate.
Yeah, and like we've we've had conversations about what Bo-Katan's like if she has ulterior motives. Mando just seems to be happy to be not an apostate anymore, and so
he just wants to live his life.
Yeah.
Man.
So like when I was like, oh shit, like is she gonna murder fucking Bo-Katan?
So
she's gonna hit her in the head with a hammer.
Yeah. So Paz fucking leads Bo-Katan down into the sewers where the old Mandalorian covert from season 1 was. And like he leads her back to Armorer, who's looking at the old forge, and Paz Vizsla fucks off. Armorer is like, yeah, there's this dinky little forge, doesn't really compare to the great forge on Mandalore. And Bo-Katan's like, yeah, I know, I saw it. It was really cool. Armorer's like, take your helmet off. Bo-Katan's like, is this a weird sex thing? is this what you people do when the birds and the bees? Armor's like, will you stop being weird for 1 minute? Just take your fucking helmet off. It's fine.
I like how she's like, I'm so confused. I'm supposed to have the helmet on.
First, I'm not supposed to take the helmet off. Now you're telling me to take it off. Like, what the fuck? I'm getting mixed messages here. So Bo-Katan takes her helmet off. Armor's like, our people have wandered far from the way, and we need to fucking get back on it. Meaning every single Mandalorian. We need to get them all back together, put them back on the way so that we can do whatever the fuck it is we're supposed to do. She was taught that the mythosaur only existed in legends, but then Bo-Katan actually fucking saw it.
Yeah.
Like, that is clearly the sign of a new age, and since Bo-Katan has lived both sides of Mandalorian culture, like, she's the only one who can lead them into this new age.
Yeah.
And unite them all. So outside, Armorer and Bo-Katan start walking through the Mandalorian.
A couple of thoughts about this, by the way. The Armorer apparently has a very low bar for accepting evidence.
She's a fanatic.
I totally get
shaman.
it. I totally get it. I'm just pointing it out. Like, I could walk up to her and say, "Hey, I saw a fucking mythosaur."
She does not work on the same standards that you do, Mr. Entirely rational. God does not exist. Show me the proof.
Let me also tell you, I think I'd rather believe in a mythosaur, but I was really shocked by this because I thought a lot of the conflict from the story to come was going to be between her religious views and her religious customs against Bo-Katan wanting to take everyone over. I did not expect this to happen.
Yeah.
And so now it makes me start thinking, like, is the Armorer more rational than I thought she was? Obviously, her standard for evidence is really low, but she must really believe what she believes if she's able to put that aside to unite everybody. And because remember, this whole thing started out with, in Book of Boba Fett, have you taken your helmet off? Oh yeah, whoops. Well, fuck you. You're not a Mandalorian.
Yeah.
To I guess we're all Mandalorians. It's like for a character, it's a very quick character development, which is fine. But I'm just really surprised that she kind of went the whole way with it.
I think we're missing some information about the significance of the mythosaur.
Yeah.
Because we know it's important to Mandalorian culture, but we don't know what it means exactly and what it signifies to them.
Yeah, which is really funny because when they had that conversation in the last episode, where she's like, I saw a mythosaur, and she the Armorer is like, everyone sees the mythosaur. Sure. I didn't think that she believed her, and then I guess maybe she did, she thought about it for a little bit and
maybe huffed some of the living water fumes.
Yeah.
And
why would she lie?
So anyway, Armorer and Bo-Katan are walking through the cloud of Mandalorians. Fucking Bo-Katan still has her helmet off, and she's looking a little apprehensive. Because she's not sure how all the rest of them are going to take this.
She's like, she told me to do it, guys.
Wasn't my idea. Armor is like, okay, look, Bo-Katan is going to fucking go find all the other Mandalorians in the galaxy and bring them here. Paz Vizsla is like, not looking like that. She's not.
Not with that face.
Armor says, no, it's fine. She's walked both worlds. She knows more about being Mandalorian than anybody. Also, because I'm in charge, so shut your fucking mouth. Yeah. We're going to retake Mandalore. But first we're going to start here. And build up what we got.
Which, by the way, do you think Paz Vizsla's son is that the Armorer's son? And if so, I want you just for a moment to imagine what that must have been like.
Because she's kind of tiny, and Paz Vizsla is huge.
And I don't see him parting ways with his turbo laser ever. He's like, we can fuck, but I'm holding on to this.
Anyway, last scene, in space, Carson Teva is in his X-Wing, and he's looking at the remains of this old Imperial Lambda shuttle.
Oh, this whole segment, by the way, the way that it's shot and the music has this insanely foreboding, like, I really thought they were about to kill this character or something.
Or something.
Yeah.
Have you ever played Dead Space or seen any of it?
I've seen some of it.
Yeah, it kind of reminded me of that.
Yeah, with like
just in terms of the general ambiance.
Right. Yeah, everything's dark and he's got the flash.
Or like the first part of Knights of the Old Republic 2.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so there's this deep space shuttles shot up and drifting. He calls it in, and like the guy on the other line is like, yeah, there was a record of a missing ship in the area, but all the details are classified. That's really fucking weird. So Travis like, all right, droid, fucking send out part of your head to go look at it.
I didn't realize that little thing came off.
Yeah. Droids can
That's
do
cool,
that, I guess. So his droid sends in his probe, and while he is like, all right, I got the license plates off this shuttle. Let me just run them to see what's up.
It's like a little Bluetooth thing.
Yeah.
It's really cool.
The guy's like, yeah, so that's a New Republic prison transport. You know, that's really weird. The transit time matches the ship moving Moff Gideon.
Uh-oh.
So there's no survivors. Like the only corpses inside are the flight crew, and Moff Gideon is nowhere to be found. And most intriguingly, the droid finds a little shard of metal in the wall that happens to be Beskar.
A Beskar alloy.
Yes. So everyone's like, did the Mandalorians spring Moff Gideon?
Yeah.
And that's where the episode ends.
Yeah, this whole thing is a little weird. They made a point to say that it's Beskar alloy, which is different than what we're used to with the Mandalorians, who use pure Beskar, I think ordinarily to make their stuff, right?
Okay.
And a couple of things could be happening here. One of them is that there's another sect of Mandalorians who swore loyalty to Moff Gideon because of the Darksaber.
I think that is the least likely.
Okay.
I think the more likely is that Gideon still has some people loyal to him, like Elia Kane, in positions to do something about him being in prison.
And they just have their own Mandalorians or like Beskar stuff.
I think they're framing the Mandalorians.
Oh, I have not seen that as a theory. That's interesting. I just think like everything we know about the Mandalorians in lore is that they're constantly fighting each other. So it wouldn't surprise me if like there's another sect out there and it's Mandos versus Mandos.
Sure, yeah, that makes sense.
The thing that would complicate that is that if they were following Moff Gideon because of the Darksaber, he lost the Darksaber. So like, wouldn't they be like, fuck off?
Do they know that he lost the Darksaber? Because like,
well, I suppose when they rescue him, they're like, wait, where's your Darksaber?
Because like, there were 5-6 people on the ship who know that Moff Gideon got his ass kicked and know who has the Darksaber.
What actually happened? Yeah. Yeah, I don't know.
And I don't think any of them go out of the way to advertise it.
I think this is one of those things where, like, you know, throughout this season, things have been, everything's been really easy, and like we've just been doing kind of side quests and stuff, and this is like something big's about to happen, and I'm thrilled because Moff Gideon is a great fucking character.
Yes,
and he's
Giancarlo Esposito, fantastic actor.
So I'm really excited to see what happens there. The other thing too, I was thinking about while watching this was, why did we set up this IG-11 stuff if we were just gonna dump IG-11 for R5 for the Mandalore mission? So I'm wondering if that ends up, because Babu Frick makes a couple of like little cameos in this episode.
Well, not Babu Frick, but yes,
one of them was. Was
it?
Yeah.
Actually?
Yeah. Yeah, Babu. He was one of the guys in the first episode.
Okay.
There. Yeah. So, like, I wonder if that ends up becoming a thing. It's it's hard to tell. So real quick, Jimmy says this whole helmet thing makes no sense in Clone Wars and Rebels. We see several Mandos take their helmets off.
Different sect of Mandalorian. Yeah. They like Mandos. Mandos are like the hardcore Old Testament, follow all the rules.
Yeah, the children of the Watch.
Yeah,
it's like,
whereas like the Mandalorians you see in Clone Wars and whatnot are the more casual,
regular ass Mandalorians. Yeah, it's like having your town's First Baptist Church and then the Westboro Baptist Church. They're just different.
But they're both Baptist churches. They just have one
of them is way standards. More crazy. Yes. Yeah. Steven says Moff has troopers with Beskar. I mean that could totally happen. No. And this could also tie into the Dark Trooper thing somehow, maybe. Yeah. It depends. It's hard to. There's got to be something out there for him to return to, and it's got to be Thrawn. Like, it's the only guy I can think of right now that's out doing things. Assuming that he survives his thing with Ezra.
Thrawn potentially. What's his name? Snoke, maybe.
all of it's going to Snoke anyway. Like it's all going to get there eventually anyway. But I think that Thrawn is probably the guy that is trying to make that happen. In Legends, Thrawn was the guy that was trying to clone a Dark Jedi to control the Empire and shit. So it would make sense if they wanted to rhyme with that he could be the guy that's trying to make the whole Snoke thing happen. So, Brandon says Dark Troopers are made with. I thought that said plastic. It's like I don't think they are. Dark Troopers are made with. I can't. It's way too far away. Similar but different. Well, yeah, and then they get chopped to pieces by Luke. So maybe he's like, what wouldn't get chopped to pieces by Luke? Probably Beskar. So talk about tech. We're about to get into our Bad Batch spoilers actually. So just 1 minute. April, I think her name was. Let me hold on. We read your comments by the way on Facebook. So on days when stuff releases, go check out our spoiler thread on Facebook or Discord. Link in the description. Crystal says this episode was awesome. The one to unite us all. I'm hoping that this means Bo-Katan will be getting Casca and Axe back. The Bad Batch was also amazing. The ending was really good. I think I would be so fucking salty if I was Bo-Katan and Casca Reeves and Axe shows up and like, hey boss. I'd be like, get the fuck out.
I think it'd be even saltier if they showed up and then immediately swore allegiance to Din Djarin.
Yeah,
because he has the Darksaber and she doesn't.
That'd be very consistent. So yeah, there's Mandalorian. We're going to talk about in our remaining 15 minutes here. We're going to talk about the 2-part season finale of the Bad Batch, which was kind of an emotional ride. Mm-hmm. So same spoiler warning for this. If you care to have it not spoiled, that's on you. So don't stick around. So Bad Batch is on Paradise Island, trying to figure out what's going on with Crosshair and Dr. Hemlock, and it turns out that Dr. Hemlock is going to like an evil doctor conference in 2 days, and so they're like, okay, we'll infiltrate the wherever they go, the compound, and we'll bug his ship, and then that'll lead us back to wherever he goes, and maybe Crosshair will be there. And Hunter's like, are we sure we want to do this? Crosshair is kind of a piece of shit. And Tex,
yes, but he's our piece of shit.
Right, yeah, which is pretty much what Tex says. He's our brother, and we don't leave our brothers behind, which now that I'm reading this in retrospect makes me real fucking sad. Rex can't help because they've already used him in the season, so he's unavailable. So they're all on their own, right?
D. Bradley Baker's not ready to do that voice again.
So the Bad Batch packs up, and now I'm reading this in retrospect, and this is making me really sad too. Bad Batch packs up the ship, and Wanda Sykes shows up and wants to know where they're going, and Omega's like, we're gonna go on a mission, and she's like, okay. So she kind of wants to give Tech a little goodbye kiss.
Tech's being real fucking awkward about it.
Right. And she kind of realizes he was just going to go without saying goodbye. She's like, you were going to fucking leave without saying goodbye? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah?
Would you like a briefing? Which I thought was really funny. Because he doesn't get it, right? Because we've established this before. Tech is very clearly neurodivergent.
Does not get people.
Right. So it's just a really interesting interaction, and Tech has no idea how to handle attraction and everything, but it's still kind of sweet because that he's sweet on her, but he doesn't know what to say about it, So they pretty much do the see you later thing.
She's like, all right, you're certainly coming back, and I'll be able to kiss you then. Yeah.
So the ship takes off. So elsewhere, Venator comes out of hyperspace and shits a shuttle into the atmosphere of this planet. And it's Dr. Hemlock, and he's a ride for his evil doctor convention. And because it's an evil doctor summit, Tarkin is also there too. And he walks into the meeting, and Tarkin's like, you're late, which is, by the way, I hate this story device in writing. It doesn't happen. This is not specific to Bad Batch, but you'll notice that in everything to exposit, they'll have a character say you were late so that they can explain why they were late, and it wastes time, and I fucking hate it. And you hear it everywhere. It's a pet peeve for me. I don't know. It just really it doesn't matter if they're late. They're fucking there. Get on with it. Exposit some other way. So all the evil doctors are there, and they're gonna circle jerk. So the Marauder shows up. They use a clearance code just like Return of the Jedi, right? They're cleared.
Fly casual, but don't look like you're flying casual.
Fly like a dainty butterfly. Yeah. So they have a hike up to the evil doctor conference and discuss tactics, and Hunter's like, no tanks, no explosives, Wrecker, and Wrecker's like, oh, Well, I just realized I can't make it. I have a thing somewhere else where
I need to wash my hair.
Yeah, I'm allowed to use. I have to go somewhere. I'm allowed to use tanks and explosives all I want. So fuck you guys. They find what is essentially a space ski lift.
Cable car.
Yeah, because it's like a snow mountain thing.
Yeah.
You know. Tech's like, I can disable the security feed, but only for 30 seconds. And he's like, we have to be precise, quick on our feet, and nothing can explode. And everyone looks at Wrecker, and he's like, man, fuck you guys.
What?
I'm tired of you guys picking on me like that. So their plan works, right? Tech disables the feed. The Bad Batch is able to board the ski lift.
Fucking grappling gun onto it and
Yeah.
like cling onto it for the hour or so that it's going over
Right.
this vast chasm.
Yeah, it was like hanging from the bottom of it, which, by the way, Wrecker's afraid of heights.
Yeah.
So he's
It's oh, this isn't so bad. Looks down. This is really
He
bad.
just throws up, yeah. So the Bad Batch get to the compound. They dispatch the guards, and they get into the base, right? So at the Evil Doctor meeting, the evil doctors discuss evil things, like you do in evil circle jerks.
Yeah.
So Hemlock is like, the progress we are making in the area of cloning is of great importance to the Emperor. We're cracking the code as we speak. And Tarkin's like, okay, but how long? And he's like, it's science. You can't rush science, especially evil science. Like, that takes even longer. Like, everyone knows this, you fucking pleb. And he, it comes out that he's using clones as test subjects against their will because they're Imperial property. And they have a little bit of a discussion about it. But really, because they're Imperials, they're just like, whatever, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It's like the one guy's like, oh, I served with those guys, and they're kind of cool. And Tarkin's like, well, you know what? I served with them. I think they're fucking
I
stupid.
serve them. They're pieces of shit.
Yeah, so I'm the boss here, so shut the fuck up.
Fucking do all the evil science on them you want.
And oh my god, it's Krennic. Krennic is there.
Krennic is there.
Ben Mendelsohn reprising his role as Krennic, which I thought was, he only says like 2 words.
Tarkin's like, hey, tell us about the fucking Death Star.
Yeah, and he's
Krennic's
like,
like, I would love to.
I will. It's mine. You can't have it. So the Bad Batch find the hangar bay with all the ships. But all the ships look the same. So they have to hack a computer and find out which one is Hemlock's. And so they break into the control room and start hacking. They identify the shuttle. Echo notices like something weird is happening with the security. Many of the surveillance systems are going off in various corridors on purpose, which is really weird because they're not the ones doing it. So like, why the fuck would they do that? So like, and it's even weirder because all the evil doctors are in one place.
Yeah.
Right. So Tech and Hunter go to check it out. So Omega goes to tag the ship with a tracker while Wrecker stands guard. She's able to tag the ship, and there's this brief close encounter with stormtroopers. She notices she's pinned down. Echo diverts the troopers to the distraction, which is him just wrecking a bunch of shit.
Crane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A mouse droid is about to tell on him, and Wrecker just steps on it. It's like, whoops.
That poor fucking mouse droid. Just trying to do its job, and you'd fucking...
You know that Wrecker saw that thing and was like, I need an excuse to break that.
Yes. I have not broken nearly enough shit today.
He didn't blow it up. Good job, Wrecker. So an officer somewhere else in the compound starts to think something up. Like an alarm goes off. He's like, I don't know what's going on here. So Hunter and Tech do some snooping. And Tech has a bad feeling and wants to leave because they notice that some shit's rigged to explode. And they're like, why would they do that to themselves? That doesn't make sense. And on cue, fucking Saw Gerrera shows up. Takes his helmet off.
Strolls up like, well, look what the cat dragged in.
He's like, I'm here to do some terrorist stuff. Like, what are you guys doing? And Hunter explains that they're...
Also terrorist stuff.
Yeah, but not so terroristy.
Yeah.
Like, we're just trying to track somebody. And Saw just wants to kill people.
Because that's what Saw does.
Right. In the middle of their conversation...
Because, I mean, honestly, if your name was Saw Gerrera, like, would you not try to kill people?
Yeah, you blow shit up. That's what you do,
It's just what you do.
So... Like, they're like, you can't do that. We're trying to, like, if you blow everyone up, we can't track it. And he's like, I don't fucking care. I like to blow people up.
Yeah.
So what are we going to do? And, like, in the middle of the conversation, the security team's alerted and a gunfight breaks out. So Hunter calls an abort on the mission. He's like, this shit's about to blow up.
Get the fuck out of here.
So Saw's like, I'm still blowing it up, bitches. Here's your warning.
You can't fucking stop me.
Yeah. So Evil Doctor meeting is locked in with guards to keep him safe, right? He turns into, like, a bunker. The Bad Batch find each other, and they fight their way to the ski lift and take off. And Saw gets back in the shuttle, and he fucking blows everything up, right? Like, everything explodes, Bad Batch playing along with it, right? Yep. So the ski lift loses power. They're stuck on the rail line. And then on to the next episode. So they need to figure out how to get the ski lift to move again. Tech needs to do some nerd stuff to reboot it, right? It has to crawl up all the way up to the rail line. Tarkin orders air support to shoot him down, and they're like, "Oh, but we'll kill our people." And he's like, "Yes, we will."
Yes, I'm an Imperial. I don't give a shit.
Yeah, there's a little Braveheart reference there. He just doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah.
So Tech restores power. Hunter's able to shoot down an interceptor with a pistol. Good job, man.
Yeah.
It's like some fucking Saving Private Ryan shit with the tank.
Good for him.
So Tech falls on his way back to the car, but he's able to tie himself off, right? And he notices like his weight is making it toward the ski car can't move, and so he's like, I'm gonna cut myself free to save him. And Wrecker's like, you better fucking not. And he's like, don't tell me what to do. And he cuts himself free and falls to his death, presumably.
We joked about this last week. I asked you who you thought was going to die. I didn't expect them to actually do this.
Yeah, I'm not sure that they have, by the way.
I'm not totally certain either, but I'm like 95% sure.
An extremely emotionally charged moment, by the way.
Yes.
The music was perfect for it, and like I'm sitting here watching a kid show, like trying not to tear up. Like it was really nice.
Yeah.
And we'll talk about that here in a couple of minutes. But I'm not into. You know how I am. Like I don't assume that everyone that dies is secretly still alive. This one feels a little different.
All you're saying is you ain't seen nobody.
There's something later on that kind of like makes me question it.
Okay.
So since Tech isn't weighing it down, the rail car takes off and crashes through the landing station, and Omega's kind of banged up, and the Bad Batch narrowly escape.
Yeah, fight back to their ship and take off.
Yeah. So Omega wakes up at Sid's bar. So Wrecker has a big fucking neck brace. It's really funny. Omega remembers what happened, and she's like really strongly in denial, and she wants to go back, to get him. And even Wrecker is like wiping tears off his face and shit. And Hunter's like, Tech put the squad first. Like, we can't waste that sacrifice. And he goes in, like, he wants to stop fighting. And he's like, let's go back to Paradise Island. And Omega's like, you know what? Yeah, maybe that's not a terrible idea. So Sid and Wrecker talk. And Sid expresses remorse.
She fucking pours him a drink, says it's on the house.
Yeah.
And Wrecker's like, I'm 5.
Yeah.
Why are you offering me booze?
Yeah.
That's illegal.
Yeah, and she talks about goggles, Tech. But she's looking sketchy as fuck, right? So Gonk Droid is on the ship with Echo. And Gonk's like, we've got a problem. The Empire is here, and they're jamming comms. Meanwhile, Sid's looking real fucking nervous, and this is right around. I was like, oh, that bitch. Like, of course she did.
Of course.
Wrecker notices. He's oddly perceptive for a 5-year-old and a 30-year-old man's body, right? So it turns out Sid turned him over, and soldiers come in and stun Wrecker. Hunter sends Omega into the mining tunnels from season 1.
Yep.
And he's like, go find Echo. And he's like, I'm going to stay here and help Wrecker. So she reluctantly leaves and then decides, because she's with AZ, the floaty droid, and she decides she's going to go back and help you. So Dr. Hemlock is there. He has Wrecker hostage in the bar. Hunter shows up. Sid takes her fucking Judah money and leaves.
For 30 pieces of silver.
Yeah, I would have shot her just fucking on sight. Fuck you, Sid. Hemlock is like, look, you might want to consider what's going to happen here. And he's like, fuck you, you're not going to get Omega. So Omega watches from the shadows, and Hemlock taunts him about Tech. And he throws Tech's goggles to him. And this is where I'm starting to think he's definitely not dead. Because, look, his goggles are in really bad shape.
Yeah.
But they've seen the body and we haven't. Which is why I'm not, like, I'm really... I would prefer that they actually killed him, because the emotional stake would be a lot higher. It would be a lot more heartbreaking when you go and rewatch it. But it is also a kid's show. So I think out of all the things we ever debate about, Mace Windu or fucking Cad Bane or all these people that are definitely dead, this is the one where I would, like, if he ends up not being dead, I'd be like, that is actually, like, I'm not very surprised by that. So Hunter surrenders to save Wrecker. They arrest him. He tells Hemlock that Omega is, he's like, she's long gone. And Hemlock's like, I don't buy that. So Omega and AZ escape. And she's like, look, AZ, go find Echo. I'm going to do something real stupid. So she kind of shows herself to Hemlock. It's kind of a badass for a second. Fucking has her bow and arrow drawn on him and shit. And Hemlock's like, let's do a trade. Like, you come over here and we'll let them go. And it's just a distraction. Like, someone lands behind her and fucking stuns her. And he's like, wow.
One of the clone commandos, by the way.
Yeah. Which was really easy. Like, you're a fucking child. That wasn't very hard.
Yeah.
So now it's only Echo and AZ. The entire city is crawling with stormtroopers. So what do? They commandeer an ATST and they start blowing shit up. Right?
How do they get an ATST? Who knows?
Happens off screen. Doesn't matter. So Hunter and Wrecker escape. And Hemlock.
Wrecker just fucking breaks his handcuffs.
Yep. Which I think he could have done the whole time. He
Yeah.
just was like, I'll probably get shot if I do this.
Yeah.
So Hemlock and an unconscious Omega board his shuttle and take off. So Hunter, Wrecker, and Echo get on the Marauder and they go after Omega. But Hemlock's ship can't be tracked.
Mm-hmm.
So Hunter vows to get her back no matter what. He's like, I don't care if it's the last fucking thing I do, we're going to get that kid back. So Hemlock returns to Mount Tantus. And Omega and Nala Se are reunited for a second. She's like, why the fuck are you helping them? And she's like, fuck, don't fucking come at me.
You're a child. Shut up.
They killed all of my people. Like, give me a break. So,
Dr. Hemlock's like, here's the fucking kid.
Yeah, and then Hemlock he's like, okay, so we got you Omega because you're in love with her or whatever the fuck. Like now we want now work on what the Emperor wants. And Nala Se is like, well, what he thinks is impossible, and he's like, you will make it possible. And he's like, and if you don't, I'll torture Omega if you fail. Yeah. So there's that. So Goggles Lady, you might remember, takes Omega into a tank room with, I presume, tanks of Proto-Snokes, probably.
That's what it kind of looked like to me.
And with a bunch of clones hooked up to machinery. And she notices Crosshair and goes over, tries to wake him up, but he's not conscious. And Goggles is like, so why do you trust Nala Se, who is a total bitch, and not me? And she's like, I don't even know who the fuck you are. And she's like, no, I am your sister. And
Omega's like, what the fuck? You're not even blonde.
Yeah, and right. I dyed it, goddammit. So, and that's the big cliffhanger ending, right? Which is a theory that I saw thrown around that I was like, that actually kind of makes sense, that she's just a clone of...
It makes sense because apparently accents in Star Wars are entirely genetic based.
Yeah, because she has the New Zealand accent. Yeah, right.
And every single clone has that same accent, despite the fact they probably never met Jango Fett.
Yeah. So, Brandon sent 200 stars. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. He was telling us about that Beskar alloy thing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Also, I'm familiar with Cortosis because I played way too much KOTOR. Jimmy says 2 things. I heard one of the officers at the table with Tarkin served under Plo Koon during the Clone Wars. Is that true? That might be true.
They were mentioning that the clones, when they were working with the Jedi, developed a dangerous amount of individuality.
Yeah, right. So 2, as far as with Tech, I think he's dead, but I wish they didn't go with him falling to his death. Gimmick. Well, that's how people die in Star Wars.
There's only so many ways you can kill a character in a kid's show because you can't show too much violence.
Right. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's one of the reasons that they go around stun most people instead of actually shooting them. Right. And I see what you mean. Unlike the Windu theory, this theory has proof Tech didn't die. No. There is no proof that Tech didn't die. It isn't as certain. It isn't as convincing to me that he died. I don't know that he's alive. I'm just not convinced that he's dead. Those are 2 entirely different things. And let me say, I would prefer that he stays dead. Like that's the death has to have consequence in a narrative like this. And it was one of the problems I had with Rise of Skywalker. That they could have killed Chewie, and it could have been painful and terribly emotional for fans. And it could have given the characters this drive to fight back and everything. And then they undo it in 10 minutes of screen time, right? They do the same thing with 3PO. How they're going to delete him and all that. And that ends up
like, oh, hey, I'm fine, guys.
For death to mean anything, people have to actually die, which is why when you see someone die, let them stay dead. He says, so I guess season 3 is confirmed since we didn't rescue Crosshair. They're definitely doing a season 3.
Absolutely.
Tyler says, I watched those first. I think I watched Mando today first because I had to take notes on Bad Batch. So we're going to reset here. Just a couple of minutes. We'll be live, same place, to play some Battlefront 2 with the guys from Gremlin Squad. So come by, say hi, tell us more of what you thought about The Mandalorian and the Bad Batch. We'll chat with you about it. It'll be a blast. So I hope to see you there. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for the stars. If anyone else wants to send stars, we'll, don't fucking spend your rent money on it. But, if you want to give us stars, I will not argue